I recently hit Legend just today. I was sitting at Diamond 7 2 days ago, and I played. You guys won't be able to see this, but on the deck tracker, I was using Pirate Warrior, this specific list right here. This is I got this list from Dice, the pro player. He put it on his channel one of these days, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I opened Raid the Docks, so I figured I'd give it a try, but here's the list. It was just running 2 studies, 1 deckhand, Docks, Shiver. Honestly, sometimes I did miss Coerce, but more often than not, Shiver is just faster, and you know that it's always going to be live versus Coerce. There are some games where I wanted Coerce, but honestly, it mostly felt like if I needed Coerce, I was probably going to lose anyways. So that was fine. Um, One stage dive, really, if you see it in your hand, knowing that you can afford to keep it for the matchup, so like pretty much anything that's not aggro, you can probably afford to keep it in your hand. It's really just to pull these guys because it turns out that having a 5/7 or a 6/7 is pretty good. And then all the 2 drops, obviously, they're all good. I mean, even if you never get these effects, you still play them on 2. Still really good. Best 2 drop. This helps a lot against aggro. Speaking of aggro, we actually play 1 Lord Barov and 2 Rancor. Salty Captains help you in the mirror. Booter is just a good card, has good stats, and it lets you clear something more often than not against aggro. You just play the 1 Scythe. You never want to draw it. Honestly, when you draw it, it feels really bad, but anything more is too much because we're already playing 2 Sword Eater. Plus, once you actually get Rokara, you're going to be equipping a weapon every turn, so more than 1 not needed. You only play it because this says that you draw it. That's really it. And it's also a pretty good one, because if you have this and this, play this on 5, and then you play this for 1, and then you just got the spell burst. Really good. Sword Eater is explanatory, probably the honestly best card on the deck. It got me through everything. This card's nuts. Anchorman's really strong too, especially when you get them off of stage dive. But I didn't record my last couple of games, sadly. But I mean, I did get to Legend, and I used this. I played about 27 games, probably. Felt like, but it's not letting me open Hearthstone tracker right now. Let me see. Open another one. I can try to read out my matchups for you guys though. While this loads, y'all are not gonna be able to see what I'm seeing because I have it to only show Hearthstone and not everything else. But so with this list, I was 29-8. So I played a total of, math is hard, 37 games. And starting from the top, from the moment that I picked this deck up, let me put this on board if y'all want to keep looking at the list. I mean, it's a very standard list, but I might as well keep it up as I talk about it. Okay, it's gonna do this again, right? Why is it doing this to me? So I gotta restart it once again. Don't know why. I think I went over every card in here though, really. Yeah. I've been seeing the lists that are playing Nitro Boost Poison, and honestly, I played a list with that and I didn't like it. It felt too slow. So I probably would not play that card, honestly. If it was up to me, I would not play it. Alright, here are my matchups. From the moment that I picked up the deck, First game was against Paladin. I can't remember this guy's deck list. Honestly, every Paladin I play against, just assume that they play like Divine Shield, Prismatic Jewel, you know, like the buff Paladins. Everyone's, 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 you know. So Paladin, Mage, Warlock, Warrior, Rogue, Mage, Druid, Warlock. All those games, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 8 games. We 8-0 off the bat, so that was pretty nice. Then we lost twice in a row. Once against Paladin. Honestly, Paladin, it really comes down to how well you draw. If you draw good curve, and if you see studies is good to keep against them, but just having your low cost pirates is probably the biggest thing, so that you can start getting your quest completed. Because by turn 3, their hand's probably on the board already, which kind of sucks. And we don't play Minefield, but also if you see our Rancor, you probably want to keep it to... It depends if it's aggro or not aggro. Paladin, honestly, it's mostly just Divine Shield, so if you can survive till 7, you can Rancor Lord Baroff. A lot of my matchups were Rancor and Lord Baroff kind of clearing the board, and then, you know, you win Paladin by controlling the board, so... Demon Hunter, he was playing Il'gynoth. I could not really do anything. I didn't draw my early minions, so I think the earliest pirate I had was 3 on turn 3, so that felt really, really terrible. So by the time he was about to be dead, I think it was turn 8, he was like at 5, but it was too late. He completed his quest, everything was discounted, he dropped 3 Moargs, and then he Il'gynoth me, and then I lost, I died. Another Demon Hunter, I drew well. Mage. Honestly, Quest Mage, I did not lose literally a single time. You have free wins against Quest Mage with this deck. It's assuming you draw well and they draw decent. Even if you guys draw about equally good, you probably still win just because you're way faster than they are. A lot of the turns it was them not focusing on their quest, but rather having to deal with my board and then slowly doing like maybe 1 or 2 parts of the quest each turn, if that. So easy wins. I lost to Paladin again. Yeah, dude, Paladin's rough. Easily my most lost against deck right now. I lost against it only twice, actually. But I only lost to every other class that I mentioned now once. That's followed up by Aggro Druid. Aggro Druid, again, depends on your draw. I did not draw well. I remember that game specifically because on this climb, I actually only played against 3 Druids. Well, 4, I guess, technically, if you want to count the win streak, but yeah, lost. They just dropped Razormane, and then all their cards were free. You can't really beat that. Rogue. Rogue was a really close game. I only lost to Rogue this one time. They weren't doing too good, but eventually they got me to a point where they had the quest reward stealthed with plus attack, and they just kept taking all my hits to the face, but they went face too. We were kind of both going face, and you cannot trade with a board that is stealthed, unfortunately. And when I was about to kill him, like 2 turns in a row, he just drops the... forgot the name of the card, but the card that makes him go stealth, so... really uninteractive game. Really, I don't think I could have done anything differently, except maybe, like, I don't know. Rancor is really the only card that generates you armor. But none of my pirates are easily killable by Rancor. Assuming he traded with the small ones already. Once we got to like 5 and up, he would not trade anymore. Hunter sucks win against. If you draw bad, you lose. If you draw good, you probably win. Then I lost to Druid again. I guess Druid and Paladin were both the hardest now that I think about it. Druid is just easily the fastest deck right now, so in standard anyways. If they open well, then it's not. We're not playing Minefield, like you can't really do much. We don't play Minefield because we have early curve pirates, then yeah, you don't want them to get Minefield. But besides those losses, I won every other game. This has a 78% win rate. And honestly, pretty good deck. The only thing that kind of really annoyed me about this deck, and it honestly didn't come up, it came up maybe 4 games total, was I would draw 2 Anchormans before I saw stage dive, or I would have them all in my hand. And I was like, okay, well the stage dive is essentially dead. This is the only reason we play it for. But never just throw the stage dive away. Keep it, because studies. If you get studies and you get a Kargath, then you're able to Kargath, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw them off stage dive. So don't just throw it away. Plus, it's kind of good to just keep a card in your hand so that your opponent thinks you have more plays than you actually do. That Kargath one did come up sometimes, and I'm glad that I saved the stage dive. Besides that, honestly, I don't really know what else to cover. I wish that I had the gameplay from these games, but I mean, y'all saw for yourself. I did, in fact, get to Legend. I don't know why I pressed that. I did, in fact, get to Legend, and this was the deck that did it. It's Aggro Quest. I can throw the deck list. I can throw the deck list in the description, probably. And I want to cover more gameplay. Honestly, now that I've hit Legend in Standard, I'm thinking that I want to try for Legend in Wild. And if I'm being completely honest, it's going to be kind of boring, but I think that I'm just going to play Pirate Warrior again. I'm not going to play the exact same list. I'm probably going to just play the Patches Ankar, and then, the better pirates, like the faster ones. Like doing 15 damage on turn 3, stuff like that. But Um, that's really it. Sorry I didn't have any gameplay. I really wish I did. Um, but yeah, this is actually, I haven't been playing for too long. So for me to have already hit the legend was pretty nice. This deck was honestly very cheap. Once I pulled Read the Docs, I figured I was going to try Pirate Warrior because everyone was saying it was good. Ever since Warlock got nerfed, it became really good. And yeah, that's it. I do stream on Twitch though regularly, usually at night. Honestly, that's when I'm home. But yeah, I was streaming for the past 3-ish days, working on the climb. Before I got to Diamond though, just real quick before I end this, the decks that I use to kind of get up to Diamond, granted you can take this one from Bronze to Legend easily, this is probably the best deck to do it with, but I didn't have the quest reward until a week ago maybe. I used a lot of these 2 decks right here, Aggro Elemental and Face Hunter. Face Hunter is really cheap. I don't have really any of the legendaries for it, and you honestly don't need them. All I have is Mankirk, which was free. Everything else, obviously I don't have Rifle or Korobane, but Crescent's good and everything else is fine. Deck really is good. I lost to it on the way to Legend once, Face Hunter. So it's very, very viable. I don't know why I keep going back to the menu, but this was also the other deck. Just the classic elemental. I had a really good win rate with this one though. Being able to drop this and this on one turn is pretty gross. Then you follow it up with like Gavel or um Whack-A-Mole, and yeah, honestly, you're good. You're lucky if the game lasts till turn 5 or 6, and then if it does, you have like Lurker. You should be playing 2 though. Just note. I don't know what I was playing instead. I forgot. I was playing the One Viper. The One Viper actually did prove useful, but definitely if you have the other lurker, play it. Card's not worth it. It did come up though because people are playing weapons, but I wouldn't say that it's better than having the second one. So I used those two to climb just to get me free, like kind of free-ish wins, because nobody wants to grind from bronze to diamond slowly. Not that this deck is slow, but these are faster, honestly. I find myself winning by turn 6 or 7, and if I don't win, then I'm probably going to lose, and it's probably just a concede. But that's really it, guys. Just wanted to share this with y'all. Little quick video for Legend. For anyone looking to get Legend, this is definitely the deck to do it. It was really easy, honestly. Like most of the plays kind of just make themselves. I'm going to do game plan it soon, though, while I'm in Legend, to just show you guys that it still can compete while it's in Legend. So, yeah. That'll be it, guys.